1, 2, or 3? 1, it's your fault. 2 is it's his fault. 3 is it's his fault, but it's also your fault. Which one? It's number 3, guys. Okay? Why? Because you cannot forgive yourself first, all right? If you cannot forgive yourself, you can't forgive others. And guess what, guys? In real life, it's always number 3. It's almost never number 1 or number 2. So forgiveness is something that we encounter every day. All right? Every day we make mistakes, and because we can't forgive ourselves, we can make even more and more mistakes. Okay, that's a problem of forgiveness. And it's the deepest problem in human society. And so what Lilia tells us is that the real struggle is not for power. The real struggle is within our heart. The real struggle is between ourselves. If we forgive ourselves, we can change the world, right? If we forgive others, we make the world a better place. Because Priam forgave Achilles. Achilles was able to forgive himself, and they made the world a better place. Okay? That's the power of the human heart. And this is what gave rise to Greek civilization. Okay? The Greeks engaged in an oral tradition. And in their oral tradition, they were constantly trying to figure out the mysteries of the human heart. All right, so this is Pericles giving his famous funeral oration. So every day, people are speaking, because that's what a person does, speaks before others. All right? The Greeks were known for their theater. This is the amphitheater in Athens. You can see it seats about 10,000 people. And this is what they do for fun. They stage this theater, and everyone watches it. And the theater plays by Euripides, Achilles, Sophocles, are about the human heart, the mysteries of the human heart. So every day, people are thinking about what it means to be human. And that's why they have the greatest civilization in the world. This is the Agora, the marketplace, where people come together and just debate. They talk. So Socrates was famous for being in the Agora, the marketplace, and just finding people to debate. This is the symposia. The symposia is a gathering of wealthy people. And what they do is they drink wine and they talk about philosophy, love, death, what's the meaning of life, okay? Now the wine is interesting because they'll water down the wine so it's not as strong, okay? And they'll do this for the entire night. And this is Socrates engaging in a symposium on love. That's what they do for fun, guys. This is a trial of Socrates. So if you're charged with a crime, you face a trial. And there's 500 people, and you have to convince those 500 jurors why you're guilty or why you're not guilty, okay? All right, so this is an oral culture where every day people are talking with each other, and that's the source of their creativity. And what they're talking about is the Iliad, the Odyssey. They're trying to figure out what Homer meant, what Homer was trying to tell the world in his poetry. This is Herodotus. So even if you write, the first thing you do is when you write, you will recite your writings to everyone so you understand what the reaction is. Okay? Writing comes from community. It comes from understanding the feelings of others. Okay? Today we just write by ourselves, and that's why our writing is crap. All right, so this is Anna Karenina, considered the greatest novel of the modern period. It's written by Leo Tolstoy. And it's a really fun novel. I highly recommend it. It's a great book. Okay, and it starts off by saying, happy families are all alike. Every unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. Everything was in confusion in the Oblonsky's house. The wife had discovered that the husband was carrying on an intrigue with a French girl, okay? So it starts off with an affair. What happened is that the husband's sister, Anna Karenina, will come from St. Petersburg to try to resolve the issue. But then she'll fall in love with another man, Count Vronsky, and they have an affair together. Okay, and this affair destroys their families. And it ends with Anna Karenina's suicide, okay? Because what's happening is that she's demanding more and more Count Vronsky, and he can't keep up. He's exhausted by the demands of Anna Karenina. So this is what she says before she kills herself. My love keeps growing more passionate and egoistic, while his is waning, and that's why we're drifting apart. She went on musing, and there's no hope for it. He is everything for me, and I want him more and more to give himself up to me entirely. And he wants more and more to get away from me. We walk to meet each other up to the time of our love, and then we have been irresistibly drifting in different directions. There's no altering that. He tells me I'm insanely jealous, and I've told myself that I am insanely jealous, but it's not true. I'm not jealous, but I am unsatisfied. I don't have any meaning in my life. And I want this love to give me meaning, okay? So it's almost like she's looking for God. We've killed God, and now she's looking for God in affairs, in sex, in lust. And that's why she can't find it, okay? All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and translate it into Homeric prose, okay? Let's see how Homer wrote this. I'm not Homer, okay? But like, this is how he might have written it, okay? Anna Karenina went to the train station and sat on the bench waiting for the train to come. Her thoughts are empty and her head low. Where do you plan to go? Someone asked from the corner. That snapped Anna from her trance, and to her horror, she saw herself. But it was not herself. She was older, with graying hair and drooping eyes. And Anna looked as though she had seen a ghost, okay? So she's hallucinating herself 20 years from now, all right? Who are you? Anna shouted in horror. What do you want? Where will you go? The older Anna asked. Where's Vronsky? Anna shouted. She looked around. The train station was empty. Okay. You know where he is, the older Anna said, with a look of pity on her wrinkled face. Anna got up and walked away. She was being followed. So she knows that in time, she'll just all be alone. Okay? She sees her own future. Anna, where are you going? The older Anna asked. Stop following me, Anna shouted back, picking up the pace. I am going to a place where you can't find me. Don't do anything rash, the older Anna said, chasing after her. Leave me alone, Anna shouted, and she ran and ran, screaming and screaming. She tripped and fell into the tracks right in front of the train, and then she died. Okay? So, if you do it this way, it gives you more insight into the human mind, the human psyche. Right? And that's what we've forgotten. So what happens when we stop believing in the spiritual? What happens when we disconnect from the right hemisphere of our brain? We clutter our brains with insignificant concerns, pursuits, and details in search of significance. When we kill God, anything can be God, okay? So as I said, Anna Karenina, with her fear, she's looking for God. She's looking for meaning. And before, when we hallucinated, when we talked with the gods, we had meaning. We had wisdom. We had significance. And now we've lost it. And the result is what we call modern literature, which is complete and utter crap, by the way, okay? And we know because this is Virginia Woolf to the Lighthouse, okay? It's considered one of the greatest novels of the 20th century. It's not very good, all right? So, this is a woman talking to herself. It's what we call stream of consciousness. There were the eternal problems, suffering, death, the poor. There was always a woman dying of cancer, even here, and yet she had said to all these children, you shall go through with it. To 8 people, she had said relentlessly that, and the bill for the greenhouse would be 50 pounds. For that reason, knowing what was before then, love and ambition, and being wretched alone in dreary places, she had often the feeling, why must they grow up and lose it all, okay? So her mind is wandering, and she's concerned about the grocery bill, she's concerned about the future, she's concerned about the past. There's no discipline, there's no focus to any of her ideas, okay? And this is what we call stream of consciousness. And it's the way we think today, okay? The reality is that we live in a world in which God is dead, in which we're not allowed to imagine a spiritual world, in a world in which we only focus on the here and now. And as such, we live meaningless, insignificant lives, and as such, our brains are just focused on things that don't matter, okay? And our brains become schizophrenic. All right? Okay, does that make sense, guys? Okay. Yeah? Any questions? All right. Yeah.
I have a question about the the concept about forgiveness that you just mentioned, that if you can forgive yourself, you can forgive others. I think the example of this is China and Japan, because China hates Japan because of the Japan invasion war. And after hearing this quote, I think China hates Japan so much, even until now, it is because that China cannot forgive himself because he's too weak, and also just like the third situation that you just showed, Japan invades and China is too weak to fight back, so China cannot forgive his weakness, so he cannot forgive Japan.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. I completely agree. Yeah, because if you're really strong and confident, you just focus on improving yourself. You don't think about other people. Yeah. Okay. Any more questions, guys? But thank you for the comment. Okay. All right. So last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to read some YouTube comments. So I don't have time to read YouTube comments, but my wife loves reading YouTube comments, and she sends me YouTube comments, and it's basically my homework. Okay. So if my wife sends it to me, I respond. All right. So let's look at some YouTube comments from the last video. West in Qatar says, "Hey man, what about Africa? What about Egypt and African civilization?" And I'm sure that Africa, Egypt, Sudan are really, really interesting. I don't know enough about it to comment on it, okay? So what I want to do is later on, I want to focus more on Africa, okay? I want to go to Africa and I want to learn more about the continent so I can comment more about Africa. Like for me, teaching is a learning journey, okay? I teach to learn. Okay. So this YouTuber says, Bad Bentham says, I underrepresent livestock in the economic system. And this is absolutely true, okay? If you look at the steppes, the currency is actually livestock. Cattle, sheep are the main currency of the steppe people. And it's what allows the steppe people to fight great wars, because when they go off in wars, they can bring their livestock with them. And therefore, they don't have any logistical issues, okay? So this comment is absolutely right. Question. So capital changes altruistic nature to utilitarian when hardworking motivation gets saturated. Why are we only going in one direction that's getting saturated? Yeah, so this is interesting. So we have two natures, an altruistic and utilitarian nature. And what we've discovered is that if you break the balance and you become too utilitarian, it's almost impossible to move it back. Okay? And that's why societies collapse.